No one gives a shit.
What?
No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. Nah.
NOGAS podcast.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. Bitch. On this episode, we got Joey Medina, one of the original Latin kings of comedy, who toured alongside the great George Lopez, Cheech Marin, Paul Rodriguez, and Alex Raimundo. Originally from the Bronx, New York, and of Puerto Rican descent, Joey started off his whole career as a boxer, cracking the heads first before cracking jokes. He currently resides in LA, where he directs movies, and was most recently in New York at the HBO Latino Film Festival promoting his new film, The Lesson, in which he wrote and directed himself. And you can still catch him on the road doing comedy alongside his buddies Russell Peters and this guy, Dougie Almeida. Dougie's a South Florida comic who does a hell of a Jim Florentine impression and has his own podcast called Wake Up Late with Dougie, which you can find on iTunes and on Facebook. No one gives a shit. Bronx, when did you leave the Bronx? Joe, you're Puerto Rican, and that's one of the things that I really excited about today, because there was not many legendary Puerto Rican people, comics in the game.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah,
there's some good ones in New York and stuff, and but they're more local. Well, Freddie Prinze was, yeah, definitely, but
Right.
But they're more local. I really tour around and around the world as well. But I left New York when I was 19, and I left New York to Arizona to become a professional fighter. Yeah.
And you got 2 belts, right?
Yeah.
You're a champion. Mm-hmm. You went undefeated for what? The first 10 fights or something?
Yeah, about the first 10 fights, and then that ended. But it was fun for a while, and then but I missed boxing. I mean, boxing actually taught me a lot. It prepared me for comedy.
Really? Mm-hmm. How so?
It's the same thing, dude. It's like in a ring, it's you against the opponent, and on stage, it's you against the audience. You know, and there's momentum, there's pace, there's timing, there's in boxing, you hit somebody with your best shot and they don't budge. You're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. You know, comedy, same thing. You do your best joke and it doesn't work. You're like, okay, I've got to backpedal here, and I got to figure out how to get this crowd laughing. Right. So it's very similar, man. It's very similar. Mentally, same thing.
Wow. And I used to box too. When I was 16, 17, I was a boxer. I noticed when I got in the ring, the crowd just became nothing to me.
Right.
And all you're focused on is your opponent.
Right.
It's like an old Atari boxing video game.
They're quilt
All you
people.
hear is that.
This quilt people, right?
Yeah, but you do hear when in the ring though, I do recognize voices. That's the thing.
Okay.
Like the crowd is just I hear them cheering and everything, but when I hear somebody that I know yelling my name or saying to do something, I can totally tell. I totally recognize them by their voice.
Okay.
No.
All right. So, wow, that's interesting. Rudy, do you feel that way too? Rudy's been doing this thing.
I don't
every
recognize
night.
anybody's voices. No, I'm just kidding. I've never boxed, but in comedy, it's definitely a blur for me, especially, outside of the front row, but past the lights and that dark part, I don't. I just kind of go off the reaction.
How long you been doing comedy, Rudy?
About 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, three solid years.
His crowd work is great. Great.
And I actually left the military to do comedy full time.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Worst decision he's ever
Worst
made.
decision ever made.
What's your advice?
Worst decision ever.
He went from the president being his boss to a manager at Smoothie King.
Right.
You got to do the music for The Price is Right when you lose.
Right. Facts.
What about you, Dougie? Dougie, what was your power punch? Is it like a...
My biggest, because I fought Muay Thai. I had 10 professional Muay Thai matches.
You too, really?
Yeah. So my thing was my left leg. They called it the sneaky left. And I'm only 5'9". We were talking about this earlier. I fought super heavyweight.
Yeah.
So when I was in shape, I was 210. I'm 5'9".
Right.
So everybody I fought was either 4 inches taller or 50 pounds heavier, or sometimes both. So they never thought a guy like me was going to reach their head. So the whole first round, I'm messing around, low kick, and I'm devastating, and then all of a sudden, lights out. There goes the shin to the forehead.
Shit.
So that was my knockout. That was my knockout blow. On my Facebook, there's a video. I think it was in Naples. I broke this guy's leg in 12 seconds.
With the sneaky left?
It was a right roundhouse. We both went for the low kick. We met in the middle. It was like Dragon Balls.
And I can't even pick my leg up, man. I don't know.
Yeah, how different is boxing from MMA then, right?
Yeah, well, it's the funny thing is this, the way I see it is everybody always compares them. It's like apples and oranges. It's like two different sports. It really is. I love obviously boxing more, and for different reasons, for many reasons. But I appreciate MMA. It's even though it's not my thing, I don't really follow it. But it's tough guys, man. They go in there and they fight. I love watching girls fight MMA.
Yeah.
Really?
And not because I'm waiting for a breast to pop out or something,
no,
but it's just
those.
because
They're on the ground again.
because they're on the ground. They're just really going at it. I'm like, man,
They're trying to kill each other.
yeah, they're trying
they
to kill each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They're like
sure.
college
I dig that.
basketball versus
Right.
pro basketball.
Right.
They're
Right.
going after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I appreciate it though. I mean, it's a tough sport, and it's great, man. It's if anything, I think it complements boxing. It gets people back into wanting to watch violence.
You remember the first
Right.
time? Remember the first
Besides
time?
World Star.
The first time we had the close thing, the mixed martial arts, is when Muhammad Ali fought that Japanese wrestler guy.
Oh, I don't
in the
remember
70s. Yeah, man. You got to look it up. Muhammad Ali got in the ring with boxing gloves.
No way.
And then this Japanese guy who pretty much runs the Pride, the whole K1 Pride thing they had going. He went in there and he was doing low kicks and
I
sweeps.
think I know who you're talking about.
You got to look it up if
they
you've never
named the
seen it.
move after that guy, the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
I think it was like name some.
Some Samba, whatever the hell.
Yeah,
it is.
not the guillotine. That's another move. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
That Japanese guy started the whole MMA stuff.
Speaking of moves, you ever been in a figure four? You had a figure four put on you. That's a wrestling move.
I've never even heard of it.
That's his bank account. That's his bank account.
If that.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah, the figure four is
When you grab somebody's leg and
crab them up and
turn
twist
it,
them
hold
and
it,
bend them back. Yeah,
Like a leverage move. Your brother, I had 3 older brothers. I was always putting in the goddamn figure four.
Jeez.
Let me
Oh,
try
okay.
it on you. Then you had to reverse it by rolling over. You never been put in the figure four?
I don't know, maybe.
You don't know what you're missing.
I've been to many swinger parties. It's like
Right.
stuff. I've been in all kind of positions.
So you win the championships. I heard a story that you lost and then nobody was around. Everyone was around when you were going up.
Yes.
How many times did it take for you to just be like, oh, this shit is fake, and like what
Well,
kind
the
of
first time.
The first time
yeah.
was it?
First time I lost a fight. It's funny because when I would win, I was undefeated for a while. I would win. I'd go in the dressing room and everybody's in the dressing room. You know, your trainers, your friends, fans. Here, you meet my son, meet my daughter, meet my wife. Da, 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 da. I finally lose a fight. I literally walk to the dressing room. I turn around, and nobody was there. Nobody. Not the train. Like I guess they walked me up to the door, and then that was it. And at first I was like, oh my God. And then I just laid down on the bed that was there, and I laughed. I'm like, okay, I get it. It was that quick. I'm like, I get it.
Did you lose a
They want the
decision, or did
spotlight.
you get
No, I lost a decision.
okay.
It wasn't even embarrassing.
It wasn't even
You
a
know
hard
what I mean?
fight.
Yeah. So but I did what I did. And the funny thing, when I did what I would always do right after a fight, I called my mom immediately, let her know. And she was like, hey, did you win? And I was like, no, Mom, not this time. She's like, it's okay. I still love you. I'm like, yep, you're right. And that ever since then, I'm like, okay, I got it. But that stayed in my head forever. And when I fought for the state championship, I remember I was a 3-1 underdog. I was fighting this guy named Chris Alvarado, great fighter. And he fought like Arguello. He was very
Lanky.
tall, lanky, and he was a good boxer. And he was a tough dude. And so I knew I was going to win this fight. I just knew. I trained so hard. I did everything right. I was very superstitious. I would always wear I always have to have my left glove on first, my left shoe on first.
No sex.
No sex. Yeah.
Yeah,
which
you went
part
on that
sucks.
school, no sex?
I think I'm still training in boxing. But me too.
So disciplined.
So then that day, it was like everything went wrong. Like they put on my other glove on first, and I didn't care. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
And then my boxing trunks were stretched out where the elastic was broken, and I was like, I don't care, just put the tape on. Like nothing that would normally bother me was bothering me.
Right.
And so it was a 12-round fight. I ended up knocking the guy down 6 times, and they stopped it in the 11th round. I won the fight, and I had a limousine, I remember. And I remember in the dressing room, everybody was there. Everybody was in my dressing room. And I remember going, all right, who wants to go to Black Angus? That was my joint back then, right?
That's place with a big bull outside.
Yeah.
You sound like a drug dealer.
And everybody was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, okay, you was like 6 people I pointed to. And I go, you guys come. And then we all got in the car. And I told them in the car, I go, the reason you guys are here is because if I would have lost, you would have been here too. And I never, ever forgot that lesson from the first time I lost a fight. Even to comedy, I still remember who my friends are. I still remember when anything good happens. they're the ones that I want to party with. Those are the ones I want to have friends with, do things with. Those are the ones I want to take on trips. Yeah.
When you on the flip
yeah,
side.
of course, they'll still be there, and I'll never forget that lesson. And I think it's important because especially, when you're in a career where all of a sudden you can go from rags to riches overnight.
Yeah.
You're gonna see friends and family members and shit that like, well, I don't know where these people. And you don't know how to behave, so you're like, okay, yeah, let's, yeah.
Right.
And meantime, the real ones that want to, that deserve it are probably the humble ones who won't say anything, and you forget them.
Yeah.
And you just can't let that happen. You just gotta nah, I ain't gonna. That's not the route I'm
you
gonna
hear
go.
that, Rudy?
Yeah.
See,
You
Rudy,
hear that? Right here, buddy.
Yeah, right.
Rudy told me one time, hey, here's your $5. I don't want to be indebted to you. I'm like, dude, I forgot the $5 you're talking about. But, yeah.
No debts.
Yeah, no debts. You're good.
He doesn't want any stereotypes. He's paying this. He's like, look, man, you know what I mean? I can't dance. I really can't jump, but I got to pay you back this money.
Tips. He tips himself. He does everything.
I can't live up to anything else. I'm gonna live up to this.
Fuck yeah. I got a 780 credit score. I'm the man.
That's great. That's awesome, man. So you still have the day ones then, as we call them, day one friends.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the kind of guy, and I believe this way should be. There's certain people that I may not talk to them in a year, right? But the second they call, I drop everything and pick up the phone. It's like if it was nothing.
Right.
Like I just talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
that's awesome.
There's and it's not, I don't do that just with people who have been my longtime friends. I do that with people you feel like a connection to. There's, there are people you meet and you like, that person's okay, but you just can't figure it out. And you're like, I'm all right. I'm gonna, they're not that close to me. Yeah. Then you meet other people. You're like, man, I want to hang out with this cat forever. This is a cool cat.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, that's why I believe in that old soul kind of thing, because you meet certain people and you're like, yeah, man, I like this cat is in a different category. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you just take it from there.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. I could only imagine how it is in L.A. Like, there are a lot of people over there. I love L.A.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everyone's after something. Everyone's chasing a
Gary
dream.
Newman. I was searching for who sang that song. It was Gary Newman?
Which one? Oh, I love L.A. Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it's yes and no, and like I have a I have a publicist that'll send me to the opening for this or that, blah blah blah, and they have a little red carpet, a little step and repeat thing, da da da. I understand those things. I understand why it's important to go to those things. I understand why it's important to have your picture taken. I understand why it's important to mix with people and talk to people. But I hate it because it's so fake. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, because everybody, and it's everybody's like, hey, so what do you do? Or hey, what do you like? It's always that thing, and I'm like, it's so fake, man. It's just like whatever. Like the only times I like doing something like that is when it's my project or something I've done where. Then it's my step and repeat. It's my red carpet, or it's then I feel like okay, I belong there more. You know what I mean? But all the other stuff is just, I'll show up literally. Like I did one 2 weeks ago, and I stood there and I was there 10 minutes and I left. I'm like, all right, took pictures, I'm out.
What was it for? Like a show?
No, it was an opening for I don't know what it was. They always
a mixer.
They always find a reason to do a red carpet, and they always find a reason, to get sponsors to do this and that. It was some Richie store in Rodeo Drive, and I don't know, they were raising, I don't know, maybe it was a charity, I don't know what the hell it was. And then it was just everybody was there. It was just weird. And then this one old lady came in with one of those motorized wheelchairs. I'm like, all right, I'm out, man. This is getting weird now.
I don't feel so special.
Yeah, it's like a classy hostel movie,
You and Dougie's been friends a while? Like you two know?
Yeah, like I met Dougie at a comedy festival in Laughlin, and it was like one of those guys. I'm like, I like this guy, man.
Yeah. Dougie, cool. You've been in a million festivals I've seen.
Yeah, not the ones I want to be in.
Right,
though.
yeah, not any of the ones of notes.
No, yeah, man. I always tell young comics, I always tell, World Series of Comedy, it's a nice thing because they usually do satellites and all these various comedy clubs. Yeah. And if you're a comic trying to get work, you can either send emails and get creative and whatever you're going to try to do, or you can actually show up at a contest and get the showcase in front of the club owner.
All right.
You know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw. You do well, and then after the show, you walk up and say, "Hey, man, I'd like to come feature for you." Yeah. Oh yeah, here's a weekend.
Right.
So that kind of stuff's been,
And that's how you two met.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I respect him, because I could right away meet him. I could tell he loves comedy and he loves what he's doing, right. And I dig that. Like anybody who loves comedy as much as I do, I'm like, it's awesome. You know what I mean?
Right. He's the man. Last year, I was on this two. I was in Colorado Springs. I brought the old lady because she likes to go to Colorado.
Okay.
When in Rome, That's the only time my wife partakes when we go to Colorado. So to see my wife high.
okay.
So my wife's age, she's like, this is good stuff. This is nice, huh? I can't see nothing. And,
Is she Asian?
Yeah.
Where's your wife from?
She's Asian.
Yeah,
She's
she's Cambodian.
That's a
yeah.
good accent you got.
Yeah,
there.
I know, but she sounds nothing like that. I'm not a fucking... people say that to me. Like, I met your wife. She's like, hey, Nadeem, how are you? I know, it's part of a fucking bit. But yeah, so we did Colorado Springs. I did this loony bin with, like, Oklahoma City. So I was on my second week, and this guy calls me. He's like, hey, man, you free the week of Christmas, the day after Christmas and New Year's Eve? We're going to do Laugh Factory in Reno. I'm like,
Fuck yeah.
yeah, man, of course
Right.
I'm free. But then I had to ask the old lady because I was going to be gone on New Year's Eve, you know.
Right.
You know, I mean, I asked her while she was high, of course. You know, I tried to get a good response. But yeah, that was great right there, Jay.
Yeah, we had a
Hollywood.
great time. It was fun. It was fun. To
And that's why he
spend
comes here, man. He's come down, you know. Like, he's one of these guys when we do shows, and I produce shows in South Florida, you know, and we get guys like this to come down.
Where are
know,
you originally from, Dougie?
Queens, New York.
Queens, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have the king of Queens.
Yeah.
vibe to it.
It's always great when somebody says you look like a big fat guy on TV. You know what I mean? So, hey, you know what you look like?
No, the coolest, biggest fat
That's
guy.
right.
Yeah,
That's
there you
right.
go.
Back when I was fighting, people thought it was Michael Madsen from Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That was
yeah.
when I was in shape. That was a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I
Now-
can see
now-
that. I can see that.
Now it's either Ron Jeremy.
No. Or, you look like
or
a real
King of
reservoir
Queens.
dog. King of Queens.
King of Queens.
That's
That's
hilarious.
awesome. Yeah, that's so you guys been tight ever since. What New Year's was that?
Last year. This
was
past
Was it
year.
the last one?
Yeah.
Was it the last one or the one before? No, the last one?
I think it was
Fuck,
this
I don't
one,
know.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it could have been this one. I think so. No, I think you're right. It was this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like New York or LA better?
Well, I like LA because it's warm, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to New York on the 22nd through the 27th for the New York Latino Film Festival. I have a film that's in it, and a short film, and so that's going to be fun. So I'm going to stay out there, hang out. I got me an Airbnb with these two gay dudes, and that's going to be perfect because like gay guys are the
Dougie and who
cleanest.
else?
No, they're clean. They're awesome. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be dope. I can't wait to go back to New York.
Nice.
And every time I go to New York, I don't go to New York. I hang out in Jersey with my family. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to go to New York now and just hang out in New York. So it's gonna be fun. It's for my film festival for a film. And
What's the film called? Mad Funny? What was it?
No. Man of a Funny Age is something. It's another project I did.
Okay.
This one is The Lesson. It's a short film with Yancy Arias, who's he's a Puerto Rican actor. He's on. He's one of the stars of Queen of the South.
Okay, Queen of the South.
Yeah, I think it's a USA Network show, but it's a dope show. It's like Sopranos, but for Latinos. It's dope. It's a real good show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it, like I only started watching it because of him,
Right.
and then I'm like, oh, I like it. You know what I mean?
Good.
So, it's
So,
cool. Yeah,
what's
it's real.
so he's
real
your
good.
main lead in your.
Yeah, he's a
film?
lead in my film.
The
Yeah.
Lesson.
Uh-huh.
Cool. So you directed?
Yeah, I directed it, wrote it, produced it.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Awesome.
edited it.
Yeah, you have a lot of executive producing credits.
Yeah. So, I love producing, man. It's like, I didn't want to be a producer. I mean, I love directing. That's what I really want to do. But, then I ended up, I was forced to write because I wanted to write things to produce and to direct. And then the first time I realized I was a producer was I did a feature film. And started doing the credits, and I wrote it and directed it. And then I'm like, oh shit! I think I produced this too. Like that's what a producer does. You just you basically direct the production. Oh, okay. So then I'm like, okay, that's a producer. So producing is fun. I mean, it's creative. Everybody has their. I mean, that's why for the people that don't know, you see credits, you see all these different producers. They're all doing a different kind of job. They're all doing something different. There's some producers that just handle this, and there's some that handle that.
Yeah.
And then you got other producers that are very creative, and they figure out how to make all of this stuff happen.
Yeah.
So.
Then you have the UPM, the one who controls it all on set.
Yeah, he's kind of like the foreman of the production. So it's it is fun. I love filmmaking. It's a passion. I love it. It's something that I hope I get to do for a long time.
You can. That's what I love about directing because I'm also a director. I recently graduated Miami-Dade.
Cool.
Technology. You could be any age and still be
Yeah,
a cool,
thank God.
dope director, dude.
That's why my name is Joey forever. I'm gonna be 90, and my name will still be Joey.
Not Joseph.
Because then people be like, "Oh, he must be young." All right, action! Put everybody back to one.
You get that
Let's
shit
do
too?
this.
Because people ask me, "What you're like? You're man like you call yourself Dougie? I got purple sneakers on, bitch."
That's
What do you expect? I mean, what do you want me to call?
Dangerous Dougie.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a cool. It has a nice ring to it.
It's
Dougie.
got a little, you know what I mean, little mix. Dangerous Dougie.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, evil Candy. Candy. It's a stripper at that one place in the Keys.
Evil Candy.
Evil Candy.
Evil Candy.
They have something like that in Colorado, I bet too.
Yeah, yeah. You take that Evil Candy.
Oh, dude, I took a edible one time and I thought I was gonna die, man.
Why? How many milligrams?
Dude, I don't know. It was homemade, so someone left it
unknown.
And I was trying to sleep, and I was drinking wine, and I took a piece, and I went to sleep, and then I woke. Then in the middle of the night, I'm having these weird, colorful dreams. Mm-hmm. But in my dream, I knew it was because of the weed, and I said, "Oh, that's cool. Like, just go with it, right?"
Yeah.
And then I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, "Man, I'm not feeling right, man." And then my heart started racing. I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
Got in that panic mode.
Yeah. So then, but I physically felt it. Like it really was, really was something was happening. So I Siri hospital. So I took the weed with me, and I went to the hospital and I said, "Look, I think I'm having a heart attack. I don't know what's happening." I go, "If something happens to me, it was what was in this thing." And then they said, "Well, how'd you get here?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, I don't want to get a DUI for weed." I'm like, "Oh, I took Uber, but I did it. I drove." And then so they put an IV in me, and they brought my blood pressure down, and they brought my heartbeat down.
Blood thinner.
And your high down.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't high though. That's the thing. When I woke up, it really wasn't high. That's why I didn't think. I thought I knew what was happening was real. It wasn't like an illusion. You know what I mean? And then I just stayed in the laying in that bed for like a few hours, and then they let me go.
Yeah, it's like that lady or that dude who called the cops on himself for being too high too. He's like, I think I'm gonna die. I think I'm dead actually.
I can see my heart pounding.
You know who loves edibles is your buddy Joey Diaz.
Oh yeah,
man, I heard that podcast too. That was a great one. I love that guy so much.
Joey's good. Joey's a good guy too. I've known him forever.
Yeah, you know him for a while, right?
Yeah, and Joey's got great stories. I love Joey. But it's it's I don't know. It's like some of the best friends I've ever made really were in comedy too. Just people who are, because comedians have a very open mind and and then the shit that comedians tell each other to make each other laugh is like stuff we can't even say in public.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Dude, people are like, "Oh my god."
You're in your third year. You got to understand. Like I'm in my 13th year, and you don't have any regular friends anymore.
Right.
That's it. Your regular friends like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I can't go.
Right.
Man. I'm gonna be in Toledo.
Right.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just start letting them know early.
Yeah.
If any of them owe you money, man, you better collecting them bastards.
So Rudy, what made you want to become a comedian?
Honestly, I never grew up wanting to do comedy or whatever. I've always been, I can be the funny guy in a group, like just in a conversation. Honestly, but when I was in the military, and I was honestly trying to convince another Army friend of mine to do comedy, because we used to stand in like formation in the morning. He was always funny with telling stories about him and his wife and so on and so forth. So he did it. He probably did like 2 open mics,
right.
And he just kind of just stopped. And I don't know what this feeling came over me, but I was just like, I'm gonna try it. Like I just want to try doing comedy. And I literally signed up for one of the open mics. I invited like 2 friends because I didn't know how it was gonna go. And I had like my my notepads with like 5 jokes on it. And I went up there and told jokes. And now, mind you, I've had experience with public speaking and even being in stage plays. So being in front of an audience,
did bother you?
Yeah, it wasn't. I was fine with that part. So I guess it was just about whether I was going to be funny or not in my delivery, and somehow it worked. I mean, I got a great reaction, and then I was like, "Oh man, I might be good at this."
Right.
And then I kept doing it, and then I fell in love with it, and then I found myself, basically telling the Army. Basically telling the Army, I was like, they tried to give me a promotion. I told them no.
Right.
They offered me a $30,000 re-enlistment bonus to stay, like one lump sum. Turned that down.
He's like, how much stage time's that come?
Right. Because I
gotta wait till the re-election.
Right. And it was something that so like this, and now that I'm now that I'm out and I even have more time. I mean, I pride myself on. I guess doing it full time as far as putting in the hours. I mean,
he's been doing it every day.
Yeah, I mean,
yesterday was the only night that you didn't.
Yeah, and that's just because I begged for stage time, but nobody came up with nothing. But
no, that's the way to do it, man. And
you just had that conversation today.
Yeah. You should go out, look for stage time, make your own stage time.
Right.
There are times when I first started, I would go to karaoke rooms and go, look, I'm just gonna do some jokes, guys. Is that okay? And I would just do some jokes.
Right.
And sometimes it sucked.
Right.
Sometimes it was great. And it just builds your character.
Absolutely.
And like I'll do any open mic.
Absolutely, no.
I mean, when I'm at home in LA, not so much because I'm like I got other shit to do.
Right.
But it's like, but if I'm on the road and there's an open mic,
Right.
I'll do an open mic.
Right.
Like there's an open mic they do in Reno, like on a Tuesday night, and right after I do my first show on Tuesday night, I go to the open mic. I do the open mic, and I do it because one, it reminds me of when I first started. That's the main reason. But secondly, because it keeps you on your toes.
Right.
Because some open mics are horrible.
Yeah.
Like how you could be because some, you know how it is. Some open mics, they're literally maybe 5 or 6 other open micers there. That's it. No audience.
Right.
And you're doing jokes and they're not laughing.
Right. Absolutely.
And then in my brain, I'm thinking they're thinking in their head, oh, this guy's a headliner.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
He sucks.
Who hires him?
Yeah.
And that's how it was because I started I've been in Miami for about 8 weeks now. I mean, I started in D.C. is where I got my start in comedy.
Scene there.
Yeah, and I was explaining to comics down here because the scene isn't that big. Up there is a lot of rooms like that. You go to a room and it's like 20 comics, and that is the entire audience.
Right,
there is no, so you're pretty much just up there just performing for the sake of practice. It's a repetition, but you're really not getting seen by anybody. Maybe another comic there has a show they can put you on and have an audience, but.
Where'd you start, Joey? What was your first room?
My first room was in Tucson, Arizona. It was
Really?
the Laughs Comedy Club, Laughs Comedy Cafe.
You practiced? You already had in mind you were going to do something?
No. The way I did it was, again, it was just kind of on a dare. They opened up a brand new comedy club, right? So I was a huge fan of comedy. So I went, and I was real nervous just to go in. Like I had them sit me in the back. I was, I didn't want to get picked on or anything. And then they would announce that they had on Tuesdays open mic, and I'm like, my friends were like, you should do it. I'm like, okay, I just want to do it. But it was kind of a thrill thing. So then I did it, and I did okay, and because my friends were there and stuff. And then I realized, oh my God, if I do this every week, I can hang out with these other comics.
Right.
And I just wanted to hang out with those comics. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a comic. I didn't think I could because I was real nervous and stuff. Yeah. And then it just developed into that. And then one day, I hit rock bottom in my life, and I went back to the comedy club to cheer myself up. And instead, I'm feeling bad for myself. I'm watching the comic up there, and I realize, I go, you know what? I can start my life all over again. I have nothing to lose. Right. I got no real family. I got nothing here. Right. I got nothing. I could just start new from scratch. Right. And then I said, I'm going to do this. I'm forever, permanently. And then I did it. And so that was like 25 years ago almost.
And then you went straight to LA from Tucson?
Yeah, I did comedy for maybe 2 years.
In Tucson?
And then, in Tucson. And then I moved to LA.
Who was your first comedy friend that you were like, damn, I can't believe I'm friends with this guy?
Well, maybe Pablo Francisco. He was he was before me, but he was like well known. And then it's funny, like the two guys, because all the open micers, you know how it is. That some of them are just assholes and think they're the funniest guy on the block.
Yeah.
And so they were a lot of them were that way, except for two guys. There's one guy named Kelly Parks and another guy named Jason Rohrabacher, who we're still friends to this day, these two guys, and because they were always nice to me. I always remembered that. They were always nice to me.
Yeah.
And like I would try to go up to another comic, hey man, what do you think about this joke? And I'm like, whatever. He looked at me I felt bad. I'm like, what? I'm trying to be funny.
Right. And then you realize it's not you, it's them.
Yeah. But these guys went. That's why I'm always very, very. When I meet a new comic, especially when they're like, oh my God, whatever. Yeah. I'm very nice to them. I give them whatever advice they want. Here's my phone number. Call me if you need something. Whatever. It's because I always remembered how I felt when an older comic was a dick to me. You know what I mean?
That's my issue with most comics today. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why the whole millennial spin to comedy is risen, because millennials love to work together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the guys who are real comedy, dare to cross that line of comedy, making the bad shit funny. Everyone's kind of egotistical. 80% of them are kind of dicks. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's
you
right.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be.
Right, exactly.
There's a lot. You get a lot of haters. That you get it. You always run into that situation where, especially when you start getting success,
right?
And there's other people that are in your class or group when you're around. They start looking at they're like, why are you getting that?
Right.
And I know. Like,
yeah, it's true. And I'm not mentioning names because I'll do off the record or whatever. But like I never try to. Even the two comics I really don't like, I never badmouth people in public. Well, except there's one guy I do. But Ernie G. Like nobody knows who he is. It doesn't even matter.
Fuck you, Ernie G.
Yeah, it's like Bob. Like nobody fucking knows who's Bob. Thank you. So there are people I know who are doing really well, and they've changed.
Yeah.
They're not the same cat they used to be.
Right.
And it's all right. It's their call. It's not. I'm not the keeper of someone's life. They want to be. They want to change. They want to be different. That's fine.
You never know what's going on in their life.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
And it's
Look
like
at Roseanne, who's batshit crazy now with the drugs, probably going through menopause. And no, I'm not mad at her because it reminds me of when Charlie Murphy, wilded out on stage one time in that college show. He threw the check out back. Yeah. Like no one knew. Everyone was calling him a dick. No one knew that he probably just found out he had cancer and shit.
Right.
You never really fucking know.
I would say everybody's got the opportunity to fuck up. We're in a day and age where everybody's so critical and like, oh my God, can you believe this happened? Like, you talking about local like scenes and stuff. I made a comment when all this political shit was coming out, and I said, listen, no, you really don't have a right or should be in a position to give any political advice if your credit score is under 500.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you got a fucking 490 beacon score, no one really cares about what you think the world needs right now. You know what I mean? And here's the funny thing. I had comics like, oh, you're a douchebag. They started posting stuff. And I'm like, well, I guess we just found out who has an under 500 credit score, on the post.
Yeah. If your main mission and motto is 420,
and
that's also your credit score, you should not be.
I'm consistent, dude. I'm consistent. I'm gonna weigh 420 after this burrito.
But that's also, and my paranoid mind thinks that it's because I'm Puerto Rican sometimes. Do you ever feel like that, especially in Hollywood? Because I'm really afraid of Hollywood. One of the aspects is because it's really white over there. It really is.
But the thing is, there's different ways to look at it. You can also look about being they'll look at they'll look at a Puerto Rican as Latino, but then they may also look at he's Puerto Rican, he's not a Mexican.
Yeah.
But sometimes
can I make a suggestion to that, dude?
Yeah,
because that to me, Mexican. Don't do that, man. You know what I mean? Like I mentored young men in the boys' club, young black men, and they had no father, and I was a mentor, like a big brother. And that was the shit I would say. Never fucking go into any game like that with that in the back of your head. That to me is like an immobilizer. It's the ceiling. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
You know what I mean? It's like because it's almost like you're saying to yourself, "This can happen. I got to prepare for it." Meanwhile, what you're not preparing yourself for is this shit that's gonna fucking trip you up.
Right. Sure.
Just go into it saying, "I am Puerto Rican, man. I know what the fuck I'm doing." It's like that Stuart Smalley thing. I'm smart.
Right.
I'm beautiful. And people.
No, I agree with you. But then it's also, but you've got to also, I think, look. You've got to learn to make your disadvantages, if it's a disadvantage, your advantage. Right. But you have to be aware of it. Otherwise, if you just walk around going, no, the world is great. No one's ever going to judge me bad. Then you're fucked. Yeah. But if you go in there going, look, the world may judge me bad, but I'm going to still fucking win no matter what. I'm still going to kick ass. Yeah. And then it's better. Then you're more armed and more ready to take that challenge. Yeah. But I've always thought though, since I've been in LA, that Hollywood does, and this is of course all generally speaking, right. But it's when you're Puerto Rican, it's looked on a little different because and this is again generally speaking, I think when they think of a Mexican, they think about the people that clean my car or might clean my house or the people that do my gardening and da da da. When they think of Puerto Rican, they really don't know. They're like, that's maybe more exotic or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like that country.
Yeah.
They think you could juggle fire and shit. Yeah. They confuse you with a Polynesian guy.
It's one of those things that I just have in the back of my mind. I don't let it impede in my my efforts either way. Like you said, Dougie, that's a very good advice.
Yeah, my biggest part was I played soccer right when I was growing up. My father played in Europe, and I was a goalkeeper. I'm 5'9".
You're Italian?
No, I'm Spanish Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
So my father, we're goalkeepers. So I'm like, Dad, why don't you? I should have been a horse jockey at this point. Right. But you made me a goalkeeper. So I went to college, ended up doing. But the whole time I'm thinking in my head, they're not going to pick me because I'm a short goalie. Right. I went to college. The goalie I went up against was 6'9" or 6'8". It was like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm never going to play on this fucking college team. So yeah, I would think that in my head, and I should have just either changed it or just moved on.
Yeah, I guess it's stuff that we can't help, but I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest. I love Puerto Rican.
Yeah, no, me too. And Puerto Ricans, we're so always wearing Puerto Rican shit. You have
jersey.
Yeah, flags on our car. We just like out of most. I mean, every group is always proud of their heritage, pretty much. But Puerto Ricans, like there's a Puerto Rican, there's a Puerto Rican. Yeah, like you just say, you get the way they are and what they wear and stuff. And
crucifix in their car.
Yeah,
blocking their view as they drive.
But it's yeah, and it's but again, like Dougie said, is you've just got to use everything to your advantage and just not give a shit.
And you've been doing good over there as far as your directing and.
Yeah, it's doing more and more. I'm doing, because I've taken it serious, and not that I've never taken it serious, but I spent a lot of time, a lot of money. But I remember I used to, anytime I wanted to shoot a project, I would have to find someone with a camera, right. And then I found someone with a camera. Then I would watch it and go, oh fuck, I need someone with a mic now, and then I would like, oh, I need some lighting sucks. I need someone with a light, right. And so then I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, I just want to buy things little by little, and just I said my goal one day is I want to be able to shoot a movie with all my own equipment. Yeah. And now I have it. I have all my own equipment. I shot my pilot with all my equipment. All my projects I shoot with my equipment.
What type of camera?
I have a Canon C100 Mark II.
I like those. Those are good ones.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get another one. But it's just.
I'm getting a red soon, so if you.
Reds are cool. Yeah.
I'm getting a red in a couple weeks. Actually.
All right. Well, when you come to LA, we'll work.
Definitely.
And then, but then again, I realized one thing too. It's not really the equipment. It's always the filmmaker. It's not the equipment. And it's good to have good equipment, and it's good to know what. And it's almost kind of like war. You have to decide what equipment to use, what weapon to use for whatever project or whatever scene it is.
Yeah.
You don't need everything for every single scene. You don't need it. You just be. And the more I've been filmmaking, the more I've been learning, and the more I'm prepared. So I'm very precise of what I need and what we got to do for And it's just It's funny because my real life I'm so unorganized. I'm spontaneous, impulsive. But when it comes to filmmaking, I'm the most anal person on this planet, which is weird because that's not me.
Right. So that's that producer aspect.
Yeah. I just got to make sure my shit's tight, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you have your set producer already, or you do all your producing as far as sending your films to festivals yourself?
No, I do. Yeah, I do all that myself. But I'm the lead producer on all my projects. But I always have somebody else helping. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I always have another producer on board helping out.
Oh, okay. Let me see it. Let me see it through the camera. All right. Well, either way, we should wrap up in 5 minutes. You fucked it up, Chico. God damn, you fucked up the flow.
Just take a bunch of stills and then you'll throw the stills over it.
No, that's a 50. It's only gonna get him, but it's fine.
I'll pan it.
All right, pan it. Yeah, all right, there you go. All right, good thinking. All right, so Joey, one thing I did want to ask you. You was an undercover cop one time?
Yeah.
That gave me a good movie idea. What if you were undercover as a comedian, like a movie or something like that, right?
Believe it or not, my accountant gave me that same idea. He goes, yeah, it's called Undercover Comic.
Yeah,
and it's a TV show. And he's like, yeah, it'll be like
21 McDougal Street.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, sure, man, whatever works, whatever pans out. It's like, it's funny. Like, I act because it's part of being in show business, being a comedian, whatever. And when I did my pilot that I shot, I starred in the entire pilot, the whole thing. Nice. But I'd rather be behind the camera if I had a choice.
Of course.
I just like being behind the camera. I really do. And I'm not like, some actors will start directing just so they could be in front of the camera. Right. And the directing is freaking horrible, man. Right. And they put themselves in positions that, like, not me, man. Like, the first time I wrote the first thing I directed was a feature. When I wrote it for me. I wrote it for me to star in. And then as I'm writing it, I'm realizing I'm not this character. I can't play this character. Yeah. And then I just said, I'll just direct it then. But I was smart enough to realize that some people aren't. And you got to just know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Right. You know what I mean?
For sure. Those cop days, do you keep them? Was it like something you did? That was your other thing after your boxing, or?
Yeah, it was right after boxing. It was fun, and Undercover was the best part. It was
really?
Because then I wasn't working. Like, it was fun. It's just like I was playing a make believe bad guy. You know?
Can you talk about those cases now? Has it been that long? Like,
I can't be specific with stuff, but it was fun.
What was your funnest case?
OJ.
I found the glove.
I was in the Bronco.
Man, so many. I was kind of. I guess it would be called a loan officer. So it was. I was by myself completely all the time. Yeah. I didn't have any partners. I would be sent to a town, and I would just live in that town for a few months and be undercover and just figure out where the drugs coming from, who's buying them, who's selling them, who's the main dudes. And that's what I would do. And then once that was done, I would move to another town. Then I would move to another town and have a different name and do this and that. So it was really like in the movies. Like,
Never Dangerous?
Oh, it was always dangerous. It was I've got thrown. I've been, dragged into bathrooms in Burger King with guns pointed to my head, and
really,
yeah.
Have you had to go back and do like shows in them same towns?
Yes, I did after.
That's that motherfucker.
I did, and I was worried. Like in the beginning,
Paulie Walnuts.
Hey, I got a script idea. You and I are like cops, undercover cops, and we go and find out about all the Asian massage parlors in town.
I could do that.
You know what I mean? And then you come in, you have a scene with you in there, and then the girls get all freaked out. It's like, oh my god, we tell them like the secret code's Godzilla. That's how you.
Oh, welcome back, secret lefty. Secret lefty. They call you secret lefty. Or sneaky lefty.
Sneaky left. Sneaky left. He come quick.
That's so crazy.
Not less work.
Damn, so they drew guns in you at a Burger King bathroom.
Yeah.
Jesus, because they found out.
No, they just wanted to see if I had a wire.
Right.
And then of course, I had to pat them down and go, yeah, where's yours? I mean, you gotta go. Right. And it was
your first acting lessons, really. Then.
Yeah. Well, no, being married was my first acting lesson.
I love you, honey. I love you. I still love you, honey.
No, like that's not a rope burn. I mean, no, that's not a hickey. It's a rope burn. That's what I used to do. I would get hickeys, and because rope burns in boxing looks just like a hickey.
Right.
So I would go, maybe that's a rope burn. I'm like, how'd you get a rope burn on your neck? I'm like, what's easy? I was just, like.
One chick told me that this guy she dated, she found a used condom. And she believed that he used it to jerk off. He told her, "No, I jerk off with condoms."
Oh my god!
Yeah, she fucking believed it. She was like, "Is that a thing?"
I told the next girlfriend one time. I think it stuck to my foot when I was walking through the parking lot, and it got in my back seat.
Oh wow! Oh shit! Oh, she found it in your car.
Yeah. Oh, how'd it get there? I don't know. Must have got stuck on my foot or something.
That's fucking horrible.
Well, one time, okay, I'll give you a story. So one time, my first wife, God bless her soul, she's not dead. I just said God bless her soul.
You just wish she was.
Yeah. No. She's great. She was the normal one out of the three. One time she caught a letter that a girl wrote, a love letter to me, and she found it in my pocket. And she's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, I'm busted, man. I'm busted." But then she screwed up. She goes, "I can't believe you wrote this letter. Who did you write this letter to?" And I'm like, wait a sec. No. I go like this. I go, first of all, does that look like my handwriting? She was like, I found that, okay? And then I was going to copy it to write to you. Right. So great.
You ruined it.
Yeah. But she said, she goes, why? I can't believe you wrote that letter to somebody. And I didn't. The letter was written to me. So I'm like, babe, does that look like me? Oh, I'll give you a quick story. It has nothing to do, well, it has a girl, but it's not.
Okay.
So one day I'm driving. At the time I had this big fucking Jaguar, piece of shit car. I hated it. And I'm driving on the freeway, and it's kind of bumper-to-bumper traffic, but it's moving a little bit, maybe 10, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles, whatever. And I looked to my left at the car that was next to my left, and I fucking hit the car in front of me, man. And, her trunk was pushed in. Then she hits the car in front of her, and her front is pushed in. This Asian girl, right? So it was like, oh, her car was fucked. So I'm like, oh, shit, man. So she pulls over.
It's still her fault somehow.
No, yeah. Well, she pulls over. And then I pull over in front of her, and I'm like, hey, I come out. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah. I don't know what happened. Some guy hit me and took off. I'm like, yeah, I saw that. That fucker. So then the girl that she hit, I went up to her. I'm like, are you all right? She goes, yeah, what happened? I go, I don't know. Somebody hit this girl and then took off. I'm like, you girls all right? All right, we got to take off right now. But nothing happened to my car. It was like this big-ass car. Nothing happened to it. This girl's car was totaled. He was fucking totaled. Yeah.
He hit me and took off.
At least you did half a good Samaritan.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, if she thought it was me, I'm not. That's my way of going. Maybe God was trying to give me a blessing by letting her think.
That was definitely a way out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That was definitely a way out.
That was your first Me Too movement.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Now she's probably listening going, that motherfucker.
Well, thank God you made it out. After that, what was the thing that said no more cop stuff, no more undercover stuff? I'm ready to.
Oh, my ex, she wanted me to go back into uniform. I was married, the second married.
Okay.
And she
you had
wanted
a different life than every girl.
Yes. Yeah. She wanted me to go back into uniform and leave undercover, so I did, and I went back to uniform 6 months. I didn't like it, and it was just it wasn't the same anymore.
That's crazy.
Right. So it wasn't for me.
Then comedy. That's it.
Then comedy, and then it was cool. It was. I mean, the thing is, Rudy, like there's gonna be a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and there's gonna be more downs than ups.
Yeah.
But they're going to be all great, and you're going to love them, and it's just great. I've literally traveled all over the world. I've a lot of great things have happened, and anytime I think about comedy, I don't think about any of the negative stuff. I always focus on the positive and all the good things that happened, and people I met, so it's all dope.
All the Smoothie King napkins that you use as toilet paper now, you're going to miss that.
That's right. One day you're going to have 2-ply.
2-ply.
Yes, one day. 2-ply is yours.
I'm still waiting on 1-ply.
You got to work your way up to that.
Work your way up to
that. Can't go to 2-ply right away, son.
I shaked his hand, man. I think I shake my hand. Give me some Perel.
All right, Joey, thank you so much for being here. Dougie, thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother.
Where can they see this movie? It's going to make festival rounds first.
Yeah, but actually you could find it on YouTube. I already put it up. It's
The Lesson?
if you put The Lesson by Joey Medina on YouTube, you'll see it. It's an 8-minute film. It's a short film, but it's actually really dope. You're going to like it.
Okay, and you have your joeymedina.com.
joeymedina.com, and that'll connect you to everything else. At Joey Medina Comic is all my handles on almost everything.
Great. And you're going to start your podcast back up, man?
Yeah, I'm going to start it.
I miss all the porn stars.
I will. I'll start it up.
I was listening to the one with Russell Peters and the other porn star. That was great.
Tasha Rain.
Yeah, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Big tit blonde.
Yeah, beautiful. She's hot. She's sweetie, though. She's actually a very sweet girl, yeah.
I missed your podcast, man. Just
all right, you know what? I'm going to do it. You're inspiring me to keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. And when I'm out in L.A., let's link. I'll bring all this equipment if you want it.
For sure.
What's mine is yours, for
Thank
real.
you, man. I appreciate that.
Brown supporting Brown. That's right. Dougie Almeida.
There you go,
Almeida,
man.
right.
You got it, bro. First take.
Wake Up Late with Dougie. That's your
Wake Up
podcast.
Late with Dougie show. You can hear me on the Paul Casanova show. I'm one of the friends now on the show. Morning radio. You hear me every couple weeks.
What is it?
The Paul Casanova morning show on 105.9,
right,
Big
yeah.
105. Usually sit on there and go to at Dougie Dangerous.
Yeah.
All my Twitter nonsense.
I love that
Instagram.
remix you did with your song.
Yeah.
The blurred lines.
It's actually Elgin David, who's been on MTV's Wild 'N Out comic. He hosts for my venues at Tada Productions.
Okay.
And he's just he's a beast. He was just on America's Got Talent with that. It's like a fake boy band. They're all like in their 30s. It's a High Five Alive or something. Yeah.
What's my favorite thing about the song is that it's so long.
Yeah.
And then when you watch your podcast, you guys are just there, just waiting till it's over. It's like a good 2-minute song. Yeah. You guys are just there.
There's a radio station. There's a terrestrial radio station that has it on their network, right? And they're like, we love. I heard the intro song. I said we got to get this podcast. I'm like, it's the longest podcast intro.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah. It's jamming. Thank you so much for being here, Dougie. And Rudy Wilson where you at? If you have a job for Rudy, please.
We'll tell jokes for food. Before I give my tag, I just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to sit here with you two guys. Definitely aware of who you are, and in my young comedy career, this is definitely an honor. I feel like
pleasure meeting you, Brian.
I feel like I don't even deserve to, be sitting here. But
in 10 years, he won't answer your call.
So I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity, man. You guys are humble guys, good guys. And Dean, appreciate you having me, man. But Rudy Wilson at everything. RUDYWILSON. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah, there's not a lot of comics as good as Rudy down here.
That's cool.
I really mean that. You and Julie Baez are really top notch to me right now.
Appreciate it, man.
Chico, thank you, cameraman.
Chico.
And,
Chico.
Yeah, today was brought to you or sponsored by Canna Venus Wine.
This is good too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Dude, that is probably the best buzz right there, man.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
And we have open mics every Thursday at Renee's Wynwood. We're working on a really big show for Labor Day weekend. So stay tuned for that. At NOGAS _podcast. And I'm Latino Tarantino. We out. Thank you.
Peace,
sir.
Later.